What's up, y'all? You're watching Union-Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we're going to talk about Google and how they fired their entire music team that voted to unionize. And I want you guys to understand something, because a lot of times workers, and especially workers in non-union careers, they look up to companies and to billionaires, especially in this client where we have hero worship of the wealthy. So a lot of people look up and they don't realize that they're worshiping false idols, for lack of a better phrase. We got to really take a step back and look in the rear view a little bit, so that we can know where we've been and understand the playing field that we're standing on. Because if you don't understand the game that you're in, how can you play effectively? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about an economy that was built around the idea that working people should be exploited to the maximum. You know, before Bacon's Rebellion, which was when indentured whites joined forces with enslaved blacks and overthrew a city in Virginia. Before Bacon's Rebellion, even white folks were exploited to come to the States, to come to the US, to come to America. You know, they had to sign contracts of indentured servitude. And that was basically, you're going to work for me for free for this amount of time before you're allowed to become a citizen and move about this country and earn some money. So even before Bacon's Rebellion, whites were exploited, and things weren't much better in the North. In the North, you had textile factories and all these other things, and the owners there were brutal, and the working conditions were terrible, and children were forced to work in the mines. This is all over the country. So we got to understand our roots. You know, this was the seeds that were planted, was exploitation. After Bacon's Rebellion, the owner class was smart. They adapted. They said, all right, we'll pit you guys against each other. We'll elevate these immigrant whites. We'll call them overseers, and we'll keep you as this permanent slave class. And if you look at the system of indentured servitude, it's awfully a lot like working in jail, right? You go to jail on a crime, and then you're sublet out to different corporations to do work for them for pennies on the dollar. Sounds an awful lot like indentured servitude to me, and slavery to me, but that's besides the point. I just want us to understand and come to an agreement on the floor that we're standing on. This is the basis of our economic system, and the people that own the economic system, the capital owners, have always wanted to exploit workers and maximize a buck, and they've done it to a tune of reaching and attaining wealth that unheard of. And now you have Google, one of the biggest companies, and a portion of their workers vote to unionize. Oh, let's talk about unions too, because this was the conditions, right? This exploitation. It took working folks banding together, okay, disrupting the system, okay, in order to get changes that we still benefit from today. The 8-hour workday was not a thing until workers banded together and started fighting for it and withholding their labor to say, no, we're not going to keep the machines going until you start being fair. Understand that there was never a fairness to this game. The only reason we got anything as working people was because we banded together. And so every single one of these companies detests the idea of allowing their workers to collaborate together for better pay. They hate unions. And so they would rather fire everybody for thinking they could join a union, and then hire all new people, give them a little bit of a pay bump. And here's the other trick that they do. They'll throw a lot of little fun things around the office. Bean bags, Google bean bags, nap pods, all this fun stuff, snack bars, coffee bars, all this fun stuff, right? In an attempt to keep you from wanting to get higher pay. They'll make your job have a great atmosphere, and they'll put money in that, but they're not putting money in your pocket. The only time they do is when you collaborate together and demand it. But here's the old hat and the old trick is to fire everybody when they unionize. But that is union busting, and that is illegal. And that goes against the National Labor Relations Act. And that is why we have the NLRB to adjudicate those cases. So I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. But they fired the entire working group. So let's read about it right quick. This is out of Business Insider, written by Kenneth Niemeyer, March 2nd. Give me a second. I just got to get to the page. All right. The entire YouTube Music team is out of a job as tensions rise at Google parent company Alphabet. The Alphabet Workers Union, which represents workers at Google's parent company, Alphabet, said Google laid off the YouTube Music team on Friday. Some of the Alphabet workers found out about the layoff while they were speaking at an Austin City Council meeting in Texas, where the City Council was set to vote on a resolution asking the company to negotiate with the union. And let's take a quick listen to that.
To be supported by the City of Austin and also our allies in the labor community, give us the motivation to keep this fight
Not
going.
to interrupt, but they just laid us all off.
Oh.
Yeah, they just laid us all off.
We just all, I guess we just all
Our
got
jobs are ended today, effective immediately.
Wow.
I'm sorry your time's expired, but we'll follow up on this. Thank you.
Wow. To find out while you're at a council meeting trying to force them to negotiate with you at the table, and instead they fire all of you. We just got laid off. Our jobs are ending today, effective immediately, one worker tells the city council in the video of the meeting, which we just saw. In a statement on X, the union said the YouTube Music team was based out of Austin and was receiving such low pay that some members were working multiple jobs to make ends meet. Even as workers contribute to the success of the billion-dollar platform, they are paid as little as $19 an hour and receive minimal benefits, the union said. The YouTube Music team previously went on strike in February over Google's crackdown on remote work. Google has publicly refused to negotiate with the Alphabet Union since workers voted to unionize in April of 2023, the union says. And this is from Business Insider, which is, going to have a pro company spin, and even they're saying, the facts on the ground, which is they fired 41 workers. YouTube Music workers voted 41-0 to unionize with Alphabet Workers Union last April, but Google refused to bargain with the workers. It tried to claim the YouTube Music workers were not Google employees because they were subcontracted through Cognizant. But the National Labor Relations Board ruled that Google was in fact a joint employer and had to meet workers at the bargaining table. Google still refused. YouTube Music workers were urging Austin City Council to support their bargaining efforts when they learned that Google had laid off their entire 43-person team. Let us not be mistaken, folks. We ain't friends. The owner class is not friendly to you, do not have a positive view of you. You are just a cog in a machine. The only time we get what we deserve is when we band together. Here you have a company that, even after the NLRB ruled against them, went and fired everybody. And what's going to come of this? Does the NLRB even have teeth? What's going to come of this? I don't know. But I do know this. The only time we've ever won is when we stood together as one and we forced the country to change. And here, nearing 100 years later, we're still enjoying the benefits of those great warriors from yesteryear. I'd say it's time that we realize that we're actively involved in a fight and we need to get our stuff together. My name's Eric. You're watching Union Minded. Remember, the fight's not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And there can be no union without you. And I, front and center. Peace.